Welcome to Wines du Jour. You're looking at HD TV, high definition. That's what you're looking at. We're here at a place called Wine 5 Cafe, a name that's very unique because the owners are also very unique. Not only are they from Africa, they're both excellent chefs. That's husband and wife. They do a beautiful job, and I have to tell you, the food is incredible. One of the things that they've done since they've been open in the last 2 years is they just recently opened for breakfast. Now you can get an outstanding breakfast or lunch or dinner 7 days a week. Beautiful place. Wine 5 Cafe. Now, you know we always feature 3 wines. And the 3 wines today, the first one is a sparkling wine coming to us from a company that makes more bubbly than any other company in America. I'll tell you a lot more about that. But it's made with, this particular bubbly is made with Pinot Grigio, that particular grape, as opposed to Chardonnay or Pinot or what have you. The other 2 wines are both Cabernet Sauvignons, America's #1 red wine consumption in the whole world. A 2002 from the Mendocino area up north, and then we have a 2009 from the northern part of Sonoma. Really interesting Cabernet Sauvignons. The food's going to be excellent, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these messages. But before I go, I want to remind you, wine is food. Be back in a minute.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just 1 receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back to Wine du Jour. Wine Cafe 5 is a very unique little restaurant. It's not very large, but it's very potent, if you know what I mean. When I say potent, I mean the quality and the service is unbelievably good. It sits in the northwest part of the Las Vegas area, and I suggest you check it out. If you're coming to town, make a reservation. You can find the phone number. I'll give it to you a little bit later in the show, but you can find the phone number on information if you want. But tonight, we're going to feature 3 wines like we normally do, and the first one, as I told you a little bit earlier, is a bubbly. Now, when I say bubbly, that's another word for champagne, only not made in Champagne, France. You know, only the product that's made in Champagne, France, which is 93 miles northeast of Paris, can be called champagne. Everywhere else in the world, and they do make it in almost every country, and certainly in several places in the Americas, is called sparkling wine. On the other hand, if you go to Spain, they don't call their sparkling wine or champagne, they call it cava. Well, let's get back to what we have tonight. Barefoot is the name of the bubbly, and I have to tell you, the people that make this make several million cases of this every year, but it's not made out of the typical varietal for champagne, which is Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. This is made out of one of Italy's favorite white grapes, Pinot Grigio. So we have Pinot Grigio bubbly. And I want to show you something. When you open the bottle, and incidentally there's 90 pounds per square inch pressure inside this bottle. That's why there's a little punt or a recessed area, is to make the bottle stronger so that it doesn't explode and cause problems. But when you do this, you want the champagne or sparkling wine or bubbly very, very cold. Very cold means around 36 degrees. How do you do that? You put this in a bucket or a container or in your sink with half water and half ice, and allow it to sit in there for at least 35 to 45 minutes or longer. And what's going to happen is that water and ice is actually 36 degrees. As long as there's any ice in that water at all, it's 36 degrees. Once the last bit of ice melts, it starts to raise in temperature. So you take it out at 36 degrees, open the bottle, and then pour it. And I want to show you a little bit about how to pour champagne or sparkling wine properly. You tilt the glass and you pour the bottle with the bottle approximately half full, and then stop and set it down. And then allow the bubbles to recede. Then you make the second pour, and I'll show you exactly how much should be in a glass of champagne. That's how much should be in a full glass. That's about 5.5 to 6 ounces. You see the bubbles coming up, and that shows that it is a bubbly, of course. And one of the unique things about Pinot Grigio, it has a very nice lemon lime type of a note to it, and the taste is very good. Let me show you, let me get a taste here. When it's chilled, it's absolutely beautiful. Now, let me show you what I mean. Chef Michael and his wife, Chef Grace, put together a really neat menu tonight to go with the three wines. And with this particular bubbly wine, he's taken Roquefort cheese and a little bit of vegetable and made what he calls a cigar out of it. It looks kind of like an enchilada, you know, only it's deep fried. And he's taken some balsamic vinegar and reduced it and put some spice in it. And so what we're going to do is to eat this, dip it into the sauce, and eat it, and then taste it with the sparkling wine or the bubbly. Let's try that. Oh boy, it looks good. He also has a little side. He has a little bit of lettuce and some julienne beets. Really nice. Boy, that's good. Very tasty. Now, Cafe 5 has been here for a couple years, and just recently, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, they opened for breakfast, and the reason I'm saying that, the breakfast here is incredible. You need to come early, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, have an excellent breakfast before you go shopping or go to work or whatever the case may be. You're watching us here at Wine 5 Cafe. You're looking at Wines du Jour, and we'll be back right after these messages. Don't forget, wine is food.
Hi, I'm Nancy Monse. Watch me on DirecTV Channel 25 and Cox Cable Channel 14 every Sunday 2 p.m. as I give you an update on international and local news on the Global News.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back to Wines du Jour. We're here at Wine 5 Cafe, and I have to tell you, the food here is very, very nice. That first pairing was absolutely perfect with the bubbly. Let's go to wine number 2, which is Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a 2009 Cabernet from Parducci Winery. And if you're familiar, Parducci Winery is in the northern part of Sonoma in the Mendocino, where they meet right in that general vicinity. And they make outstanding wines, especially Cabernet Sauvignon, because the heat or the weather, if you will, is a little warm in that part of the country, and that makes for a really good Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, as I mentioned, we have the 2009, but this is a little bit unique. It's not just they go out and pick a bunch of juice at different places. What they do here is they have a number of small lots or small vineyards. So they call this their small lot blend. It's several vineyards right not too far from each other, and they blend the juice together. Now this is not 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, and they have all of these other varietals growing in the same neighborhood, and here's what they've done. They have taken 88% of this is Cabernet Sauvignon, 7% is Merlot, 4% is Cabernet Franc, 1% is Petit Verdot. Sounds like a French blend, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So all of those are together in this, and it makes an outstanding wine. I want you to pay attention to the color here. I'm going to pour a little of it to taste. Isn't that a beautiful garnet color? I think it's absolutely outstanding. So what we always do with wine before we even smell it or taste it or look at it is we kind of swirl it and take a look at it to see what kind of reflection. We're not looking for sawdust or beasties or any of that sort of thing in the wine. What we're looking for is how the light reflects on it. And you're going to find that after a while you're going to be able to tell if this is really going to be a clean, clear taste or if it's going to be a little muddled, if you know what I mean. And that's one thing we do before we ever taste it. Then we swirl it, stick our nose in it. All the fruit forwards, all the typical things that you would expect with a blend like this, with the 88% being Cabernet Sauvignon, is good. All the fruit forward, the plums, the berries, the black fruit and so on is very good. Let me taste this. Boy, that's really good. Now, here's the surprise. Chef Michael and Chef Grace have put together something that's a little bit unique for a big red wine. They have taken Atlantic salmon, it's wild caught Atlantic salmon, and they've taken the temperature in these grill very high. So they call it, their term for it is intense heat, seared and peppered wild Atlantic salmon with a little cheese ravioli. So we've got a little bit of rice, we've got a little bit of ravioli, and we've got a little bit of salmon. So give me a chance to taste it here. That salmon is good. Let's take a little bit of this ravioli too. This is a spinach and cheese ravioli. That sauce is absolutely outstanding. You know, when we try to pair wine and food together, a lot of people make a mistake and they search for the wrong pairing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that, let's just say as an example, you're going to have a steak with a little béarnaise sauce over it and a glass of wine. But what wine do you choose to go with the steak that has béarnaise sauce? Well, the real key is to pair the wine with the béarnaise sauce, not so much the wine with the steak. Then you'll find the pairing works much better. So it's not usually the entree, it's the sauce that goes with it that you'd like to pair the wine with. I think that's a good idea. So, salmon, of course, almost everybody in America loves salmon, and here we have some intense heat cooked salmon. And what that does is sear the outside. You know, this style of cooking, incidentally, comes from Kenya, which is where Chef Michael and Chef Grace come from. Kenya has their own style of cuisine. If you've ever been to Africa, you know if you get to Kenya, the food there is superb, like it is down at the very southern part of Africa. So, Wine 5 Cafe, wines du jour, Parducci Cabernet Sauvignon, 2009, small lot, and some great food to go along with it. Stay with us. We'll be back right after these messages.
Hello, I'm Shannon Yang. Watch me on the Global News every Sunday 2 p.m. on DirecTV Channel 25 and Cox Cable Channel 14 as I keep you informed on international and local news.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back to Wines du Jour. We're having a good time here at Wine 5 Cafe, and we're having wine number 3 now. We've already talked about Barefoot as being a beautiful Pinot Grigio bubbly. We've also talked about Parducci from the Mendocino area and that little blend that they have, French blend you might add, that's really, really nice. Now we're going to go all the way south. When I say south, I mean South America. We're talking about the country on the west side of South America called Chile. Now Chile is a very unique country. It's very narrow, but it runs practically from the top to the bottom of South America. Now about halfway down is where a lot of good terroir is to make wine, and that means that most of the vineyards are in that particular area, and because of its location they do a lot of Cabernet Sauvignon. Well, we have a very good Cabernet Sauvignon, 2004, Route 1. Or is it Route 1? Or is it Creek or Crick? Or is it Hoove or Hoof? Well, I guess that's a dilemma America's been having for years, so whatever you like to call it is fine. But this is Route 1, 2004 from Chile, South America. I'm going to try a little bit more of it. This is really a tasty wine. If you like Cabernet, this is a full-bodied Cabernet. It has all of the flavors that you would expect, the plum and the black fruit, cherry, a little bit of chocolate, and it's really good. This would be absolutely outstanding. This would be absolutely outstanding with one of those Argentinian steaks. You know, Chile has a lot of wine. On the other side of South America is Argentina, and they're known for beef. They have grass-fed beef like nowhere else in the entire world. You know, here in America, we take our beef and we do all kinds of things with it to raise it to be tender, and then before we harvest it, then they give it grass, but they also give it oats and corn and other things to kind of fatten it up. In Argentina, they don't do that at all. They just simply allow the cattle to eat grass. Now, why does that happen? Well, here on Wines du Jour, we've been talking for years about terroir. The type of terroir that you're going to plant certain varietals of grapes in need to be appropriate. Well, down there, the grass, just for some reason, is just absolutely wonderful, and the cattle end up with very tender beef and very tasty at the same time. Can't beat that. Back over to Chile and our Cabernet Sauvignon, I have to tell you, this is excellent. And the chef here, Chef Michael and also Chef Grace, they're husband and wife, but they're both chefs. They put this dish together, and they've taken a little bit of a borio rice and made risotto out of it, and then they've made a stir fry with beef and onion. And I have to tell you, it's really tasty. On top of this stir fry, It's a little Royco sauce, and that's spelled R-O-Y-C-O, Royco. Very delicious. Look it up in your cookbook and try it. It's very tasty. Boy, I can't believe how good this is. Excuse me for chewing in front of you, but that's the way it is. Wines is Yours, what you're listening to. We're at Wine 5 Cafe, and we're having a good time tasting everything. Remember now, I told you about the bubbly from Barefoot, made from Pinot Grigio instead of the typical champagne combination, which is Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. They used Pinot Grigio grapes only and made that particular bubbly. They make 7, I think, different bubblies. So check it out. Barefoot is a very good company. And number 2 was Parducci, one of my favorite wineries in Mendocino. The people there are excellent, very knowledgeable, and very friendly at the same time. They make really good wine. So check out Parducci 2009 blend. That would be Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, a little Pinot Grigio, a little bit of Cabernet Franc, and it's really a good combination. And then third, but not last necessarily, is Route 1, the beautiful Cabernet from Chile. This runs about $14 a bottle. This runs about $16 a bottle. And the bubbly from Barefoot is about $8.99. A real bargain. Wonderful. You'll love it. You might try that Pinot Grigio bubbly with a dessert. Very good with cake or even ice cream. We've got to go. You've been watching Wines du Jour. I'm your host, Les Kincaid, and I hope you see you next time. Bye, everybody.